Riverside County Sheriff's Department following a wave of civil lawsuits. But will it move forward? We'll uncover the latest from Riverside.
Also this evening, we're speaking with Cathedral City's first woman firefighter, how she's breaking boundaries right here in the Coachella Valley.
Plus, parts of California under a tsunami watch tonight after a powerful earthquake strikes near Russia. We'll have the latest from the National Weather Service. NBC Palm Springs at 6 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
And I'm Mark Messer. Plans to create an oversight committee for the Riverside County Sheriff's Department fail to advance. That's tonight's top story. The Riverside County Board of Supervisors declining to advance a move after Supervisor Jose Medina motioned to create that committee. It comes after dozens of lawsuits tied to inmate deaths in county jails. Our Antonio Marquez is in Riverside tonight, and he has the latest.
That's right, emotions ran high after a 5-hour meeting where the Board of Supervisors decided not to vote on creating an ad hoc committee for the Riverside Sheriff's Department. Around 125 people signed up to speak during the meeting, split between support and opposition for a proposal aimed at increasing oversight of the county's top law enforcement agency amid inmate deaths, several lawsuits, and allegations of misconduct within county jails. But after 90 minutes of public comment, the board declined to vote, shutting down the measure. Sheriff Bianco has long opposed the idea and welcomed the board's decision.
I'm very pleased with all of the comments from the supervisors. We cannot get better if we don't continue in that effort to strive for perfection. We can't be perfect, but we always have to strive for it. And to be quite honest with you, the numbers that we were told here today are fabricated, absolute dishonest misrepresentations of reality.
But many in the audience were left disheartened, accusing the board of ignoring growing concerns, including families who have lost loved ones within county jails.
Betrayed, and it's just sickening. We're going to keep on working. We're going to keep on pushing. And, you know, I guess the supervisors that were not on board with this are part of the problem.
And despite today's decision, several advocacy groups tell us that they'll keep working with the community and the families affected. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
Antonio, thank you. Now, in the same meeting, the Riverside County Board of Supervisors approved adding fire mitigation charges to the tax bills of 450 property owners. Officials saying these residents failed to pay for the removal of weeds and other fire hazards under the county's fire hazard reduction program. This vote passed 5-0 without public comment. No property owners addressed the board during today's meeting. The charges are part of the fire department's ongoing cost recovery efforts. The owners owe the county nearly $300,000. According to officials, the owners were initially ordered to clear their property, and when they failed to do so, contractors were sent in to do the work. And Eisenhower Health in Rancho Mirage has recently been recognized as a best hospital by U.S. News and World Report for this year. The Coachella Valley-based hospital tied for second in the Inland Empire and ranks 19th statewide, placing it among the top 13% of hospitals evaluated across the country. Hospital leaders say this distinction highlights Eisenhower's excellence in patient care, calling it a reflection of the team's commitment to the community. U.S. News reviewed more than 4,400 hospitals across specialties and procedures to determine those annual rankings.
The city of Coachella is holding a special city council meeting tomorrow. It's to discuss the fiscal budget. City Hall set for 6 p.m. According to a staff report done by the city's finance director, the budget is projected to run a $2.4 million deficit. The report partially points to Riverside County protective services such as police and fire, which combined are asking for $2 million more this year, an 11.8% increase in total from last year. You can attend virtually if you can't make it in person. If you'd like to speak in the meeting, you must submit a request to speak prior to the discussion of the topic.
A road alert for you if your commute takes you through Palm Desert. Northbound traffic on Cook Street will be diverted into the southbound lanes starting Wednesday. That's tomorrow, July 30th. Both directions of travel will be reduced to one lane in each direction between Merle Drive and Overley Lane East. Construction crews with Coachella Valley Water District will begin a major phase of pipeline installation on Cook Street between that area. The work is expected to continue throughout September.
All right, let's get a check on the forecast. Live pictures tonight from our Agua Caliente casino camera high above Rancho Mirage. Chloe Carlson has tonight off, so we have Jerry Steffen who's tracking our forecast. Hey, Jerry.
Well, we began the month of July with above normal numbers. Last 2 weeks, generally slightly below average. The coolest day was last Saturday when we hit just 101, but 108 yesterday afternoon, and temps will be at or slightly above normal for the rest of the month of July. Now, as far as radar and satellite, clear over Southern California, not much going on over the state. Matter of fact, clear conditions over much of the Southwest. You got to look to New Mexico for action earlier today with thunderstorms. Overnight lows tonight under totally clear skies will be close to normal. Lots of upper 70s as we get close to sunrise tomorrow morning. 74 the overnight low at 29 Palm, 62 at Banning, 70 tonight at Cabazon. High pressure still with us, keeping those numbers slightly above normal. 110 to 114, plenty of sunshine again and dry air at the surface, and later in the day the onshore winds will pick up, getting a little gusty in the wind-prone areas. As far as dew points tomorrow, in the 30s like they were earlier today, and again single-digit relative humidity. Peak temps at around 4 o'clock. That includes 112 in Palm Springs. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. 110 Thursday, back to 112 on Friday. Full forecast in 7 day, minutes away.
Thank you, Jerry. We're turning to some news around the world tonight. Tsunami advisories have been issued after an 8.0 magnitude earthquake struck off Russia's remote and minimally populated far eastern coast. The earthquake hit about 85 miles from the coast there. A tsunami warning is now in effect for the Hawaiian Islands. A tsunami advisory for portions of Alaska and coastal areas in Japan. And then most recently, the National Weather Service sharing a tsunami watch is in effect for coastal portions of California, Oregon, Washington as well. Residents were being evacuated in Sakhalin, a Russian island in the Pacific that lies to the southwest of the epicenter. This is a developing story. We will continue to bring you the latest developments as they come to our newsroom.
The County of Riverside is providing transportation for parolees and probationers struggling to appear in court for dates and check-ins. The new mobile service centers are provided by the county's Department of Probation. They're about the size of an RV. Their main function is to provide appointment spaces for homeless probationers and parolees. They can also be used to live stream into court hearings.
Cathedral City's fire department recently welcomed in the department's first female firefighter in decades. And tonight our Brett Rosen joins us live in studio to introduce us to her. Brett?
Olivia, 19 years old, Maria Aguilar's parents told her a story of how she was a baby and she was having a seizure and how it was her local fire department that sprung into action to save her. Since then, Aguilar knew she also wanted to help others. However, what she didn't know is that she would also be someone that others would look up to.
At this time, I'm going to start my turnout drill. And like I mentioned, I have 2 minutes to put everything on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start now.
This is how Maria Aguilar starts her day at Fire Station 411. As a firefighter paramedic, she's only had 3 shifts since her swearing-in ceremony last week. Aguilar is the first female hired by Cathedral City's fire department in decades, a title that still leaves her speechless.
It's an honor, truly an honor. I don't even know. I have no words. I'm very humbled by it, and I'm just proud to serve the city.
Aguilar was raised in Orange County and was a part of the Fire Explorer program, which helps teens learn the basics of being part of the fire service. She says even being a part of the program, she noticed she was the only female. Now she's seen a shift. Today, Aguilar says she wants to continue to give back to the community and set an example for young girls.
And going back to my why, so really I do it to give back. So really that's why I'm here, and also to serve as a role model for my nieces and nephews. I know they're so proud of me, so I want to continue to be that role model for them.
Aguilar says it was her family and friends that were supportive of her aspirations. However, it was her own self-doubt that she had to get over.
I feel like I had such a young mindset, didn't know what to expect really. But now that I'm much older, more mature, more wise, I feel like, like I mentioned earlier, it's just a mental thing, really.
According to CaliforniaVolunteerFire.org, only 5% of firefighters in California are women. However, Cathedral City's Fire Chief Michael Contreras says he has gladly seen a change in a once male-dominated profession.
If you go back 50 years ago, 60 years ago, there were very few, right? Now we're at a point where more and more are getting in. So I think, I haven't had the conversation with Maria and what inspired her, but I do know that she does want to serve a diverse community.
Maria Aguilar, again, has only been with the department for 3 shifts. However, she's already been an inspiration. Fire Chief Michael Contreras told me that he got a phone call since Aguilar started, and it was a girl who recently completed paramedic school, looking to go into the academy. She said that she saw Maria Aguilar was hired and asked if she could be welcomed in too. Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
Thank you, Brett. We certainly wish her the best of luck in that new job. Coming up next year on NBC Palm Springs, our Crypto Fits gives us some insight on the 3 new bills sent to Capitol Hill, updates on their advancement, and what you should do next.
Also tonight, price of toilet paper, laundry detergent, and other necessities may soon increase. You're going to find out why after the break.
And your gold and silver prices on this Tuesday evening. Stay with us. More headlines later on.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
Welcome back. It's been a busy few weeks in the world of cryptocurrency. We spoke with Crypto Fits about the latest on Capitol Hill and his advice for those interested in starting their own portfolio.
We've been talking about these 3 bills on Capitol Hill. The one got signed by President Trump, the stablecoin bill. The other 2 passed the House, now go to the Senate for that debate. Senate's going to be on recess, so this should get worked out in September. So that's the latest on that. What's happening now this week, tomorrow supposedly, is the release of the digital assets report, which is going to tell us what we have through confiscation, what the government owns, how much Bitcoin, how many other cryptos, what are those cryptos, and what are they going to do with all this new digital economy assets. We were expecting this to come out in May, and here we are toward the end of July. So we're anxiously waiting tomorrow.
If you were to give advice to somebody who is looking to get into this space and trying to sort through all of this information, what would your advice be to them?
Gee, take a breath. Take a deep breath. You've been hearing a lot of information. Your friends might be bugging you. Your kids might be bugging you. You hear the term FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't make any rash decisions or moves right now, okay? You don't have to open an account yet. Go to Coinbase.com. They have great tutorials on there. Understand the importance of what we mean by the intersection of technology and finance. And then when you're ready to go to the next step, you'll take it. Self-education and doing your own research is the name of the game, and not taking it like it's a tip for a horse at the racetrack.
You can find that full conversation with Crypto Fitz on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com, and then he'll join us again next Tuesday at 6 o'clock with all of the latest developments.
In some consumer news this evening, Americans should expect to spend a little bit more for bathroom and laundry items. A consumer manufacturer involved with companies like Pampers, Tide, and Charmin announced a $1 billion pre-tax hit caused by the Trump administration's tariffs. The company is trying to change sourcing and productivity to account for this change. However, consumers will have to pick up some of the cost. They say it will cause price hikes for about a quarter of their items. Giving you a live look tonight from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Almost made it to the middle part of the work week. We got Jerry Steffen, who's in for Chloe tonight, bringing us the latest on the forecast when we come back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a live look for you this evening. Our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera in Rancho Mirage, the river there in the foreground and some blue skies in the background. Our meteorologist Jerry Steffen telling us those blue skies should stick around for most of the week, but unfortunately, so will the hot temperatures. He's in for Chloe Carlson tonight with a look at our 7-day forecast for us. Jerry?
Over the past couple of days, we had slightly below average highs for the Coachella Valley. Palm Springs hit 108, 1 degree below that 109 degree normal, and today will be slightly above that. That'll be the case the next couple of afternoons. As far as radar, yeah, quiet over Southern California. You got to look well to the east of us to see some action. Thunderstorms over the Four Corners states. Most of the monsoonal moisture stays well to the east of us over the next 24 hours. Overnight lows tonight will be in the upper 70s. That's typical this time of year. 77 degrees in Palm Springs, 79 Indio, 70 tonight at Cabazon, 44 at Big Bear. Now, tomorrow we still have that ridge of high pressure, although weak, will keep us slightly above normal. 110 to 114 Wednesday afternoon. Lots of sunshine, not a cloud in sight. Onshore winds a little breezy late in the day out of the west. So 112 for Palm Springs Wednesday afternoon. 113 Palm Desert, 102 at Cabazon. Even triples for 29 Palm, 78 at Big Bear City. Monsoonal moisture stays to the west of us on Thursday, although it does get the closest to us over the next several days. So 109 to 113 again Thursday, a couple notches above normal for this time of year. 110 in Palm Springs, 112 Palm Desert, 106 29 Palms. And again, monsoonal moisture will be the closest to us on Thursday, but still remains well to the east over the Four Corners states. That's where the monsoonal moisture and thunderstorms will occur. Winds not really an issue over the next several days like they have been. They'll pick up out of the west at around sunset, and that'll be around the 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds at Desert Hot Springs and the San Gorgonio Pass. The rest of us just a little breezy late in the day. Surface moisture, that remains dry too. 30-degree dew points for the most part into the weekend, so those evaporative coolers can be functional. And middle of the day relative humidity, yeah, a lot of dry air, single digits there. No weather advisories, the dry air and the winds picking up a little later on in the day does raise the fire danger, but no red flag warnings have been posted. If that changes, we'll let you know. Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Not much change in the numbers. They do fluctuate slightly. 112 tomorrow, 110 Thursday, back to 112 for Palm Springs Friday. Two hottest days, 113s Saturday and Sunday under clear conditions.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caitlin Kelly. Tim O'Brien has the night off. Now, with high school football season just around the corner, a tragic shooting outside the NFL headquarters yesterday is once again putting a spotlight on the sports link to brain trauma. The gunman, a former Granada Hills high school player, blamed football for his mental health in a suicide note, asking doctors to study his brain for CTE. Tonight, we take a closer look at what's being done to protect young athletes and how the game is changing to keep them safe. It was almost 1 year ago when chilling scenes unfolded at an Xavier Prep football game. A medevac helicopter landing on the field to airlift a player with a serious head injury. Later the same game, another athlete was knocked out cold, his helmet cracked from the impact. Now, after yesterday's shooting outside NFL headquarters, the long-term effects of football-related head injuries are in the spotlight once again.
Mr. Tamura claimed to be suffering from CTE, possibly from playing high school football.
So what's being done to protect young athletes before it's too late?
The first thing that all coaches have to do, especially in California, we have to get certified. We take an online course for concussions, so it allows us to look for the symptoms of concussions, what to do to handle a concussion. We take a concussion protocol test, so we have a baseline for where the kid starts. So if and when he should ever have a concussion, and then when he gets to come back, we have to retake the concussion protocol test so his baselines are within normal regions.
But the key isn't just diagnosing player concussions, it's preventing them. New rules now ban head-to-head contact, with coaches teaching safer tackling techniques.
Over the years, and more recently, last 10 to 12, they've gone to more of a rugby-style tackling where you're near foot, near hip, and you're taking the head out of the tackling altogether.
And today's helmets are smarter and stronger, built to absorb impact and even equipped with sensors that alert staff to potential head injuries in real time. No secret, football is a dangerous sport, but these strict tackling rules along with better helmet technology are part of the continued evolution to make the sport as safe as possible. Should also be noted that medical professionals are present at each and every single high school football game here in the Valley. So if there's any type of injury, the athlete will be attended to promptly. That'll do it for sports. I'm Caitlin Kelly.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Tonight in entertainment news, Beyonce's big tour, Billy Joel's new album, and we've got the first look at the new Avatar movie. Here's David Daniel.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it.
Return to Pandora with the first trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash. Sam Worthington's Jake and Zoe Saldana's Neytiri return for the third Avatar movie, which opens in IMAX and other theaters worldwide on December 19th. Beyonce's blockbuster tour. Billboard says the superstar's just concluded Cowboy Carter tour is the top-grossing country music tour in Billboard box score history, grossing more than $400 million in just 3 months. If Billy Joel and So It Goes left you wanting more, The Piano Man is here to help. Joel has released a 7-hour musical companion to the documentary. The 155 tracks include previously unreleased live recordings and demo versions. And So It Goes is available on digital platforms. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
Before we go, a piece from the past will soon be on display for the public. A 4,000-year-old handprint was recently found on a soul house inside an Egyptian tomb by Cambridge University researchers. According to a release from the Fitzwilliam Museum, these clay models were used for offerings and provided a place for a soul to live. Officials say the ancient print was probably formed when an unnamed potter moved the model before the clay was completely dry. The soul house is part of the Cambridge Museum's Made in Ancient Egypt exhibition that opens in October.
Gosh, I've always wanted to go to Egypt, just all the archaeological wonders. Have you guys ever been?
No.
Haven't had the privilege.
Not to Egypt.
Pyramids would be nice to check out.
That'd be so cool. And, you know, maybe we could get lucky and find something like that there.
Yeah.
Make our own discovery.
I did see a King Tut exhibit when it came to Los Angeles, which was really cool.
Wow.
You learn so much history out there that I think we have yet to learn.
It's so interesting. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Just got to put it out there. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm back here for the news at 11, so please join me for that. Meantime, we're going to send things over to Fred Rogan tonight. He's got the latest on the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
The United States used to be one of the few developed countries where people were having just enough kids, about 2.1 per woman. That would keep the population steady from one generation to the next. But that's been changing for almost 20 years. And now, what does that mean for our country? Welcome in on Tuesday. As July draws to a close, the Riverside County Board of Supervisors had a marathon meeting today. It started at 9:30, was continuing on past 2:30. Supervisor Jose Medina presented his case to the commission, an ad hoc committee, to consider the establishment of a Sheriff's Department Oversight Committee and the Office of the Inspector General. Why does Supervisor Medina want this? It appears Riverside County has a problem with inmate deaths. One of the highest inmate death rates in the state. Out of the 2,312 inmate deaths in all of California between 2011 and 2022, 442 happened in San Bernardino and Riverside County. According to Inland Empire Lives Lost, a report released in early October by Care First California, advocates across the state are demanding accountability for in-custody deaths, as there is a tendency by law enforcement to downplay or outright deny their role in these deaths. Let's take a look at some public comments.
I look at the other counties in the state. I work with a lot of different counties. I work with a lot of different sheriff's departments. And I see what we have here as far as oversight. We have a ton of oversight here.
Our nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization is who we are. We're here today to support RSAC, Riverside Sheriff Accountability Coalition, and those who have been affected by systemic corruption and failings of basic public safety of Riverside County jails.
In support of the proposed Sheriff's Oversight Committee. Unfortunately, this Sheriff's Department, under the leadership of Sheriff Chad Bianco, has destroyed much of the general public's trust. Our jails have become among the deadliest in the nation, and Chad talks about the people in them as though they have already been convicted of a crime that they are currently sitting accused of. His lack of compassion and humanity are evident in how he handles not only his inmates, but the families of those who have been harmed at the hands of his deputies.
We're talking about 262 families that don't have their loved ones here. And how are we supposed to respond when these people were in the care of the department? How many deaths more before you all act? So the opportunity is in front of you to enact oversight now. And more importantly, shame on you for moving this item all the way to the end. There were so many people that were here to comment on this that had to leave. That you moved it to the end and limited comments to 1 minute is quite frankly shameful of all of you. Thank you.
My son, Richard Matheus Jr., and far too many others have died in the jails because no one cared enough to step up. Sheriff Bianco's wife just yesterday said this is about a political agenda and threatened you all if you don't vote how he how Bianco wants, they will see who needs to be replaced. Ignorant, dangerous, and shameful. What was it a political agenda when my son was left to die after deputies said stop bugging and walked away? No, that was negligent, abuse, and death.
Unfortunately, the transparency and the accountability cannot be achieved by additional bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is expensive. Bureaucracy seldom is able to deliver on what it proposes.
An example of public comment overwhelming in favor of the committee from what we saw. This is what Sheriff Chad Bianco had to say.
We are here because of a lie perpetuated by disingenuous politicians, activists, and complicit media that dismisses the truth for sensationalist headlines that divide us. And I will point out the headlines that some of them apparently read, because the numbers that they give, you all know, are completely factually inaccurate. The lie is that your sheriff and the men and women of the sheriff's office are somehow bad and in need of political oversight from this board or some politically motivated and appointed committee. I will remind you that there is a very specific reason that I am different from all of you. I am elected by the entire county.
All right. When it was all said and done, what happened? There was no vote. They tabled it. Gutless. Completely gutless. If you're going to vote yes, vote yes. If you're going to vote no, have the courage to vote no. Simply don't vote. Our contributors, Stephanie Miner and Jim Walker. Okay, there was no vote, Stephanie. What do you think of that?
That's insanity. I mean, come on, like you said, gutless. Why would they do that? We need transparency. We need accountability. Let's move this issue forward. What do you think, Jim?
I think that's absolutely right. There should already be a standing committee. In a county the size of San Bernardino, geographically, it's larger than some states even. There should be a committee already established of law enforcement, of citizens, of other appointees that can review each and every inmate death. There may be nothing going on. The sheriff may be telling the absolute truth with this. If that's the case, then what's the problem with the committee?
People on the sheriff's side say, and he mentioned, it's politically motivated, even though Riverside and San Bernardino counties accounted for almost 20% of the inmate deaths in California. Bianco says that's a false number. Jim, do you think it's a false number?
Well, there's a lot of people who don't like the sheriff. There's a lot of people who do like the sheriff. Obviously, he won office here. But if there is no problem with the numbers, if those numbers are in fact correct, he should have no problem with an advisory panel coming in to review and study those deaths to see exactly what's happening there.
You know, maybe the sheriff does have a point. Broadly speaking, people often die in custody from suicide, overdose, disruption of medication, injury sustained during arrest. Would you count those deaths, Stephanie?
Yes, a death is a death. We count all deaths. This is ridiculous. If you have nothing to hide, be transparent. If he thinks this is a political hit job, be transparent so we can show that it is a political hit job. Either way, too many people are dying in custody and we need to know what is going on.
Again, my point is this. Whatever side of the coin you flip on here, if you are in a position of authority and you are elected by your constituents, you have an obligation and a responsibility to vote. If you vote yes, you want it, then raise your hand and vote yes. If you vote no and say it's not necessary, then say no. By doing nothing, that's cowardly.
Yeah, you get the feeling with this that the supervisors are kind of putting their finger in the wind and seeing which way the wind is blowing on this one and which side the public's on. But you saw from the comments there, at least those in person, that it's pretty much unanimous in favor of having this committee. But I think they're kind of waiting to see, you know, what people say on the Fred Rogan show and other places about this issue.
All right. Have you heard the U.S. birth rate has hit an all-time low? Recent data from the CDC, I should say, shows a significant decline in the number of babies being born, which experts concerned about the long-term implications for the economy and society. Factors like rising cost of living, changing family dynamics, personal choices, they're all playing a role. People are marrying later, worrying about their ability to have money, health insurance, and other resources needed to raise children in a stable environment. This is a big shift. Stephanie, What do you think the main reasons are behind the declining birth rate?
I think it's just exactly what you said. It costs a lot of money to raise a child or raise several children. People are having problems struggling with this economy. I think people are trying to plan a little bit better, and also people are having babies later on in life.
Jim, how do you feel about it?
Fred, I looked this up. It is $310,000 to raise a child from birth to age 18 now, and that's probably a conservative estimate. On top of that, you have people who are struggling to afford health insurance. They're losing their Medicare. We have issues, larger global issues like global warming, nuclear weapons. There's all of those things. I mean, it seems to me, if I were in the position of considering having a child, I would definitely think twice, because there's a lot of bad stuff going on right now.
How do you think this trend affects the economy and the workforce in the coming years, Jim?
Oh, well, we've been talking a lot on this show about how AI is going to be replacing workers. The estimate is up to 60% of workers in the next 20 years. Maybe it's a natural slowdown. You'll have fewer people in the workforce. Let's just hope that there is some kind of plan to figure out what we're all going to do and how we're going to make a living.
Good neighbor Cheryl in Thousand Palms was looking for a plumber, and our viewers send some recommendations for her. Jeannie wanted to recommend Joe Palomino of Palomino's Plumbing in Indio. Jeannie says he saved her about $1,000. George and Cheryl offer Randall's Plumbing in Palm Desert. They say Randall's has always done a great job for them. Please remember, the recommendations in this show are coming from members of the audience, the station, and this program have not vetted and are not endorsing any of these contractors. We encourage you to do your own research on any contractor you hire, and that's how you be a good neighbor. In La Quinta, here's Lily's issue. She needs to find a great hairstylist at a very specific place. If you know of one in the Phoenix Salon Suites in La Quinta, let her know. Paula in Rancho Mirage looking to run a house between February and April of 2026. Gotta allow small dogs. Palm Desert 17-year-old Todd looking for a job. You'll do just about anything. If you have something, let us know. Linda, Cathedral City, wants to give a shout out to Badass Baker. She ordered some peach cobbler and Elvis bread, and she loved it.
Is it true opposites attract?
If we're different, it makes it more exciting.
Hey, let's bridge the gap. Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Rogan, or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Is everything really better under the sea?
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
So stress relief is a very personal beast. Some prefer spas, some prefer no human contact, others take it to a place of fairy tale creatures. Now picture this, suburban pool, people donning vibrant mermaid tails. It's a fun escape from their stressful lives, allowing them to channel their inner mermaids and enjoy whimsical moments. You think I'm making it up? Welcome to mermaiding. Pools and waterways have become playgrounds for hobbyists who don high-end silicone tails, dive in for fun or fitness, and often perform at festivals and mermaid meetups. These MERS have created tight-knit pods that double as support networks in artistic communities. It's not just for fun. Many participants say it's transformational. A workout, a therapy, and a statement all at once. A lot of pools in the Coachella Valley. Gets hot here. People in them all the time. So, Stephanie, my question, what is that, and what is the draw of mermaiding?
I think it's fun. I think it's a way for people to escape the crazy world that we're living in right now. Like you said, it's a way to build community. It's a way to get some exercise. Think of how cool you could be showing up with different wigs and different tails. I think it's a lot of fun, and it can be a healthy, fun thing for everyone to try. And Fred, I'm waiting to see you in that mermaid thing.
Oh, and I understand, but given what you just said, do you have one of those? You seem pretty caught up on
maybe
this.
I'll get one. I don't know.
What do you think, Jim?
Fred, I have to tell you, I've got a friend in Houston who is super into this. He has 4 of these merman costumes or outfits. Each one was $400. He's serious about it. But you know what? Why not do it? If it makes someone laugh, makes someone smile, has someone escape for a second from the daily life, hey, why not?
Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm simply too old. I am not getting dressed up like a mermaid or a merman and
Well,
jumping
my
in
friend
the pool.
does get pointed at a lot, and he ends up in a lot of pictures because invariably he'll go to a pool party where everyone else is not a merman, and he's the only one wearing it. So it does get some attention, especially in some place like Houston.
All right. Well, to the two of you, I say, I'll see you at the pool. Thank you.
All right.
The Reverend said we got it wrong.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Riddle me this. What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it?
I'm not going to guess because then I'll get yelled at, but I think I know the answer. All right, last week we told you about an event at St. Margaret's Church. It started at 10 a.m. One of our viewers went. She got there at 9:45. She was told she had to wait. She asked if she could wait inside, perhaps in the hallway. She was told no. She'd have to go outside in the heat. and they locked the door behind her when she walked out. Not what you would expect from St. Margaret's, but there is more to this story. And joining us is Reverend Andrew Butler III. Reverend, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so now let's just be honest, Reverend, all right? You took exception to a report we had about an event at the church, and you emailed us. Go ahead and talk about it.
Well, last Friday, we had a nonprofit from the community hold an estate sale here in our church office. The nonprofit's not in any way affiliated with our church, and our offices are closed on Friday and Saturday, so we thought we would do a good deed. But obviously a good deed doesn't go unpunished. Someone arrived early to the estate sale and asked to come in out of the heat, and they were denied entrance. And that is contrary to our culture, to our mission, and to our community here at St. Margaret's. And I just wanted to come on and set the record straight.
Well, I'm glad you did, and here's why. What is your slogan at St. Margaret's, Reverend?
Open hearts and open doors, absolutely.
Right. So it's open arms and open doors, open hearts, and the person is locked out of the church. Can you understand why she thought this was very odd?
Absolutely. Apparently the nonprofit didn't get the memo. And I can't, for any reason, understand why someone would not be let in. And we are following up with that nonprofit to make sure if they do hold another event here that they follow the culture that we have set here. I had 3 parishioners come to church on Sunday almost in tears over hearing that St. Margaret's is not welcoming, because that is absolutely contrary to their experience.
Yeah, Reverend, you know, you have created that culture. It's been there for years, that you are very welcoming. Can you just talk about the church in general?
Well, yes, thank you. We used to be known as a country club church. You know, the Episcopal Church has often been referred to as the Republican Party of Prayer. And so we are the church of Gerald and Betty Ford. Also other folks who have been members here were the Firestones and the Nordstroms. So our church has quite a history, but we are a much different church today. We are very diverse as far as political ideology, very diverse as far as socioeconomics and sexual orientation. So that's just not the church that we are. We also have a culture of radical hospitality. We host over 20 12-step recovery groups every week. I'm not aware of any other single location in the Valley that does that. And we consider those folks as part of our community as well.
So, Reverend, everybody's welcome at St. Margaret's?
They are. Even today, every Tuesday, we feed 500 to 600 families, not individuals, but 500 to 600 families through our Neighbors for Neighbors food program, as well as providing clothing. So everyone is welcome at St. Margaret's. That is the culture of our parish, and that is the culture of the Episcopal Church here in the U.S.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for setting the record straight. It's great chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We thank the Reverend. Imagine driving a large vehicle full of children down the steepest road imaginable, and suddenly you discover that you have no brakes. That exact scenario played out 34 years ago this week in Palm Springs, when a chartered school bus full of Girl Scouts were subjected to a great tragedy on Tram Road. NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Sumrall takes a look back in this edition of Desert in a Minute.
It was a Wednesday, July 31st, 1991. Emergency services received the call just after 3 p.m.
We have a disaster. We need to go into code triage immediately. There's been a bus crash, and we have multiple injuries and fatalities.
On that chartered school bus were members of a Girl Scout troop from Pomona, as well as their chaperones. When returning from the Palm Springs aerial tramway, the bus experienced brake failure.
It was almost like being in a movie. You know, we were moving, and I knew that we were moving, but I heard nothing. I didn't hear talking. I didn't hear screaming. All I heard were the brakes were out. Brace yourselves. And then
the vehicle skidded 400 feet and overturned. It then careened off of Tramway Road and tumbled down an embankment. 7 lives were lost that day, including the bus drivers. The rescue effort was valley-wide.
We were able to call in mutual aid resources from Cathedral City, Palm Springs, Springs Ambulance.
3 medevac helicopters were flown in. Chaplains and psychologists were brought in to comfort the injured. Also on hand to ease the suffering was Palm Springs Mayor Sonny Bono.
That's all they wanted to hear, is that they're going to be okay. Some were concerned, would ask for other names and ask, are they okay? Ask for their friends, obviously, and I would just say, yeah, they're okay.
The Girl Scouts were taken to Desert Regional, Eisenhower, and John F. Kennedy hospitals. On the 25th anniversary of this tragic event, members of the Desert Regional medical team reflected on their experience.
Those were probably some of the hardest times, I'm sure, for some of the people who took care of these patients, because they had their contact and their relationships with them grew because they had longer periods of contact with them.
It's obviously left a lasting memory with all of us. Not only professional relationships, but friendships. I've been invited to a wedding. I went to the wedding. I've been kept up to date on childbirth and things.
For Desert in a Minute, this is NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Sumrall.
And your daily dose of cuteness when we return.
Was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens. They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even astronauts tune in.
If you like something, we want to hear about it. If you don't like something, we want to hear about it. Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com. Dazzle us if you dare.
What can you break, even if you never pick it up or touch it? A promise. Remember, keep your promises.
George and Cheryl emailed during the show. They wanted to know about the badass baker. I don't know, but they've got badass peach cobbler. See you tomorrow.